Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. You know that saying, at least we had it, I can't remember where the hell I read it, but it makes sense. It sounds something like this, I'm paraphrasing it. The one that you don't allow to die would not let you live. That means sometimes when you save some people from something, they will keep, terrorizing you with their demands. So that's a saying. I can remember where I read it when I was a long time ago. But anyway, I think we're reaching this point with Ukraine. Not that you should leave and allow Ukraine to die. I think this war in Ukraine between NATO and Russia was inevitable. At one point, it just happened to happen or occur in Ukraine. It could have occurred in other locations, like remember, they tried it, I think, first in Georgia, South Ossetia, when they got smacked over their beak. Remember that one with Saakashvili? Now they succeeded with Ukraine because they have the Western Europe here and it's easier to transfer weapons as they do. And over there with Georgia would have been harder, but now they take a chance because they're closer to the Russians in Ukraine. Closer, better for the transfer of weapons to Ukraine and support them with everything, but you expose yourself to the Russian attacks if they choose to. So, what do we have here? You know, all this military aid that comes from the sponsors, the ones that actually fight the war over there with Ukrainians' blood. They are providing Ukraine and Zelensky, the leadership of the Ukrainian nation, the guys in charge of the Ukrainian nation, they provide them with everything, you know, weapons, and now they give them tanks and they're going to give them airplanes. I'm almost certain that it will happen. Because of that mountain slope theory that I have, a model, start little, and with time you get whatever you wanted. So remember, the Ukrainians finally got the point where they will be given advanced military equipment, tanks, from Germany, Leopard tanks, Leopard 2 tanks, from Poland, Leopard 2 tanks, from Great Britain, Challenger 2 tanks, possibly and probably France will deliver Leclerc tanks, and probably United States will deliver Abrams tanks. So they reached this point. NATO decided and reached the point to deliver these things to this guy who keeps asking like a hungry baby. You feed him now, after 5 minutes, wants more milk. Maybe he likes the breast. I don't know. Anyway, so in this case, look what's happening with the Ukrainians, not Ukrainians, these weasels in charge of Ukraine, who are just asking for more. Never enough, asking for more. And it becomes annoying even from the people that are not involved in this BS. So this article comes from Ukrainska Pravda and it's from January 22nd, 2023. Zelensky says, when Russia has 1,000 tanks, 10 to 50 transferred to us will not solve the problem. So let me translate to you that. We were not supposed to receive any tanks, but hey, since you give us, why don't you give us thousands or hundreds? So in the first place, nobody has to, under any obligation, to send these weasels tanks. So let's consider this a gift. So someone gives you a gift, let's say gives you a car. You have no car, you have no bicycle, you just walk. You don't have a car, you don't have just a bicycle, that's all you have. And someone gives you as a gift a car, let's say a BMW, let's say 7 Series, all right? And then you say, you look at the car and say, Jesus Christ, man, I don't need that. I need an Aston Martin. That's what I need. And you're like, God damn it, I gave you a car, a BMW 7 Series, and you want an Aston Martin, or a Bentley, or a Lamborghini, or what the hell you want. Well, that's basically what these guys are saying. Thank you very much for the tanks, but you can't send just 50. They shouldn't have sent any. And they will keep doing that. Okay, let's read this little article here. It's not much to read, it's just how this weasel shames its sponsors, the ones who give him something that was not supposed to be given. So, Volodymyr Zelensky said that the transfer of dozens of tanks to Ukraine by various countries, and I'm quoting, will not solve the problem. The problem is Russia still fighting, I'm guessing, because Russia has about 1,000 tanks, but it will motivate the Ukrainian military. Zelensky said that with the German TV channel ARD. RD. Okay, so I'm quoting Zelensky. You should clearly understand when the Russian army, which has 1,000 tanks, is against us, there is simply no one to fight there. They are afraid, they are unmotivated, and this is a plus for us. That's an assumption. But when they have 1,000 tanks and any country's decision to give us 10, 20, or 50 tanks can solve the problem. They do only one very important thing. They motivate our soldiers to fight with their own values. Because they show that the whole world is with them. Not the whole world. What are you talking about? We know who's who and what's what. I have 10 tanks, so take them all. I have 100 tanks, so take them all. And I have 1 tank and I'll give it to you. And he says, again, I'm quoting this guy here, can you give us leopard? Well, give it to us. We are not attacking. These leopards, if anyone is worried, will not go through the territory of Russian Federation. We are defending ourselves. We are not interested in their land people. Do you have these leopards, or you are competing in rhetoric? If these are leopards, give them to us. If the Americans give 20 Bradleys in a package and the Germans gave 20 Marders infantry fighting vehicles, and I was very grateful, BS. But after the statement about tanks, they say, how many you give? I will give as many. I have a question, so you could give more Marders and just give 20 because the Americans gave 20 Bradleys? Well, you see, this guy has no limit. As I said, he was not supposed to receive any, by any standards. That's a gift these guys are giving to you. But Zelensky plays this, not Zelensky, this guy's, he knows what he's supposed to say. He's a clown, right? Anyway, so he's saying, well, if you don't give us everything you got, the Russians will come and conquer you. That's a false statement. But anyway, if they want to look at it from that scenario, I don't think I can come with a worse scenario than that. I can come with a better scenario. I don't think that will happen, because Jesus Christ will come today and will save us all. So Zelensky, your scenario versus my scenario. That's how you should bring evidence. And if you say, well, they invaded us, well, it's a long story. Remember Minsk agreement that you did not implement and someone else did what? Anyway, let's go to the second article here, which is going to say another weasel by my standards. And this guy's name is Yermak. That's another kosher guy, just so you know, in charge of the Ukrainian nation. That's a fact. So if fact hurts, I don't know what to tell you. All right, Yermak, here you have. This is from, again, Ukrinform. This is this great guy that you're helping right here, the defender of your values and your house and your wives and husbands and children and anything you got. This guy right here. Yermak, Ukraine needs hundreds of tanks, not 10 or 20. Motherfucker, you just got a BMW 7 Series. Oh, no, I want those Bentleys or Aston Martin. So Ukraine needs several hundred tanks to win, because without Ukraine's victory, there will be no stable development and a clear world order. See how it goes? Man, you're not so paranoid, or how should I put it, narcissistic. You think that you are the center of the world. You're not. That's a big world out there. If Ukraine tomorrow is no more, I don't think the Chinese will cry, okay? Or the rest of the world. They will move on. This is such a immature, infantile, and very sneaky way for people without too much IQ, let's say below 86, thinking that if Ukraine falls, or if I'm not around, you're gonna, melt down. Like, let's say in a relationship, you have a partner and all of a sudden things don't work out and you, divorce or you separate or the whole thing crumbles and you think, oh my God, if you're not with me anymore, you're gonna regret and you're gonna be destroyed. Psst, really? That's a big old world over there, my man. All right, this was stated by the head of the president's office, Andriy Yermak, on Telegram. Remember, this is an appointed guy by another kosher guy, Zelensky. So is Zhmihal and Reznikov. These are appointed guys, okay? Just remember. So we need tanks. We need. So who cares you need tanks? I need, like 5 Bentleys too. Will you give them to me? And 20 houses and ladies of the night, okay? How about that? I need many things. We need tanks, not 10 or 20, but several hundred. Our goal is the borders of 1991. How about the borders of 1917? and accountability for the enemy who will pay for the crimes committed, he emphasized. All right. This is what this little guy, which actually has a lot of power, says. Give us thanks, but you know what? How should I put it? Give me a donation, but make sure the donation is $1 million. Don't give me $200,000. I need $1 million or $50 million. So what would you do with such a person? I wouldn't talk to them, and I guess you wouldn't talk to them either. Let's say you go to a homeless shelter and you donate over there, let's say $500, which is a lot. Okay, you go and donate $500, you give the homeless person $500, and he just takes the money and throws it in your face and say, "There's not $50,000, my man." What are you gonna do? You pick up your money and just leave. But here it's the problem. The beggar, the person from the shelter, or whatever, the beggar, how you want to call the person. The beggar is not the same as the shelter, person from the shelter. Let's clear it up so people don't feel, oh my God. Okay? A person in need, let's put it this way. Right? And that person is not in charge of you. But somehow he's going to blame you for his life and his situation, and will call you names. Why? Because you don't donate how much he thinks he needs for himself, and says, if you don't help me, you're gonna die. I'm gonna die because I don't help you. Yes, that's basically the logic these weasels are pushing into us. Two guys, Zelensky and Yermak, blood brothers. Anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just. My God.